Let's do it.
Okay, Michael, give it the official introduction.
Okay, thanks, Josh. Hi, everyone. I'm Michael Connor. I'm director of Rhizome, and it's our great pleasure to co-host with Josh this third season of the Art World podcast. Um, we're kind of using this season as an opportunity to talk to artists, kind of tracing some pathways through Rhizome's 30-year history and our current community. We've had a few great conversations so far. This is all part of Josh's format, which he does because he can't really pay attention to a conversation unless he has an audience. So this is sort of like a great support structure. All of you are providing for him to learn things with us together, which is great. No, but so we are really honored today to be joined by my old friend Shu Lea Cheang, who was the really the curator of the first exhibition that I ever kind of professionally supported as a new media curator at FACT in Liverpool. It was called Kingdom of Piracy. And that show was kind of organized by her with Armin Madash and Yukiko Shikata as an online sort of exploration of intellectual property flows, open source and copyleft through different artist projects and community gatherings. At that time, Shuli and Armin lived in London in a kind of hacker community on the canal in Hackney. And they really kind of opened a door to a real world of hacktivists and cyber feminists that really have changed the trajectory of my life. Before that time, Shuli had been known as a filmmaker for the film Fresh Kill. If any of you haven't seen it, absolutely incredible. A sci-fi sort of series of vignettes that explore corporate control, media saturation, and environmental disaster, and a creative resistance of foragers and artists, and queer lovers and hackers. And I think that that film inspired the term hacktivist, actually, the first coining of that term back in the 90s. And she also notably did one of the real standout major net art commissions of the 90s, Brandon, which was commissioned by Guggenheim Museum and recently restored, telling the story of, um, I suppose, like the dissonances and slippages between online and real gender and sexual identity. But Shui's, of course, continued her fearless intellectual exploration through the internet, queerness, environment, and is here to catch us up on a lot of that story, continuing to do really great things, including running among all of her many other accolades, a media art farm in Andes, New York. So I'm going to hand it over to Shuli to share what she's been up to more recently. Thank you, Shuli.
Thank you. Thank you, Michael. Welcome everybody. For me, I guess this is really the early period of 2026. So it's good for me to be doing a talk here. And also at the moment, I feel like I'm sort of everywhere. So I decided to put myself in fermentation. I think that's the only safe place for me at the moment. So my talk is going to be Alt+Shift, artist in fermentation. I'm actually going to just read something and hopefully we can get into more of the Q&A, more the conversation mode then. Okay, so in mid-90s, I jumped onto the superhighway and migrated to the cyberspace. By early 2000, I declared the net had crashed and situated myself in post-net era, bartering garlic as old currency. In 2009, I entered the cycle of viral love biohack and completed the cycle in 2003 with the film Yuki, which I called it a sci-fi viral or reality cinema. Upon Yuki's release, I declared, we have forsaken the prosthesis of cyborg bodies and make kin with microbes, permitting them to cultivate inside our collective open source body. We have departed from gender binary and deviated into transgenic discourse. To live with the virus is to transmutate our bodies, teleporting our viral bodies into a brave new ecosystem. So this was back in 2023 when I declared I had become the virus, or virus has become me, thinking about how to live with the virus and loving virus. And at the moment, I think it's quite natural that I would ferment myself into this new ecosystem with the virus inside me. So I just gonna switch channel a bit. This image was actually sent by a radio art legend, Tezuo Kogawa in Tokyo. I was sent the picture of the camembert in the making and with the title Fermentation and Oscillation. So I decided to borrow this title, Fermentation and Oscillation, for a project called Radiotopia. I have been doing Radiotopia since 2021 with a group of radio artists and radio enthusiasts and the radio activists. In the process of developing this project, I consider fermentation is durational processing, oscillation is algorithmic processing. The anger on the streets in the USA and worldwide are years-long fermentation, maturing inside out. Oscillation is contagious, transmittable, expandable. I am part of this fermentation or social construct. I am a camembert in French, a stinky tofu in Chinese, kimchi in Korean, sauerkraut in German, are in Mongolian, shamita in Ethiopia. I would like to see a kind of global fermentation project and to bring the radio transmission into this mix. So I made my own AI self-portrait. This is a work called Altering. However, my AI self-portrait actually only altered the blank keycaps in bulk. I pick up the scattered pieces, reattach them to the keyboard membrane to retrieve me, memory, and emotion data. These are data from the clone babies. This is actually all part of the exhibition entitled Kiss Kiss Kill Kill. It's actually with a X in dollar sign. Produced by Haus der Kunst in Munich. It was supposed to be my first institutional survey exhibition, and its current actually traveled to Louis Follin in Aachen in Germany. I just wanted to quote what the curator Sarah Jonna Tour writes. Trash appear as a primary theme that leads Chang's investigation into the entanglement of biosphere and technosphere. Each gallery its own world in which internet-based installation and shortware interaction invite the audience to explore and play. I think these days, I rely on a lot of curators to write about my work, so. Another project I'm working on is actually a large-scale theater performance piece. I learned a few indigenous words, for example, sapu, medicine, swapu, healing, jini, forest, yayong, stream, and pupa is flower blooming. Hagay Dreaming has been developed since 2020. I am collaborating with a Trugu tribe healer and performance artist named Dongdong Ho-Wen. Dongdong tells a legend about a hunter when hunting in the forest, find a cave shelter in the rain and drank a group of non-binary Hagay beings who pass on the knowledge of living, weaving, hunting to the hunter. The hunter father transmitted the knowledge of hunting, weaving to the tribal people. In this theater rendition, technology is invoked to carry storytelling. The technology is become not a tool, but a modern shamanic device. Indigenous knowledge systems command the technology and articulate a futurism rooted in indigeneity and the non-binary origins of the cosmos. After premiere this work at Tate Modern in 2026, the work would actually returns to Taiwan in this theater version this May 2026 at Taipei Performing Arts Center. We've been sketching on some of the stage design. It's a big grant. It is grant. I just been to Mars, but I'm back now. I actually have a new commission by the Leslie-Lohman Museum of Art in New York. The piece is titled Lover Love. It will open on April 2nd, 2026, this year, actually 2 months later. Lover Love, I think, Michael, you must have wrote this one. It's Lover Love addresses agency, survival, and intimacy in a time of heightened political precarity. Whoever wrote this is genius. You know, I can't really explain my word better. I shot the film in Tucson, Arizona. And from there, I've been in the post-production, and it will be a 4-channel installation. It's somehow interactive, if you can say that. But I'll get to the interactive maybe a bit later then. For the film in Tucson, I actually bring together 8 performers and many other performers, also performance artists and artists. A lot of the performers I encounter, mostly non-binary, great performers, and I shot for a month with a lot of local crew. And yeah, I'm just gonna show a clip from this 4-channel installation.
Transutopia is a world with the right to self-agency, self-determination, and personal autonomy.
A transutopia is a world where healthcare is a human right.
A transutopia is a world where expression of culture and individuality is encouraged and assimilationist ideals are rejected.
A transutopia is a world where your appearance doesn't affect your ability to be sheltered or have a stable work.
A transutopia is a world without boundaries or borders, literally and figuratively.
A transutopia is a world where someone's humanness can never be taken from them. I'm not sure when it'll happen, but I dream it will. For the sake of those I've loved, trans and not.
For the installation, I'm actually doing a bit of mechanical sensor electronic manipulation of the screen. I want people to be able to move the screen. I want people to able to get the museum space into a sort of activating space. That's why I want to separate my work from interactive to activating. So I consider my work is activating an audience, and this is probably good to get start a conversation.
I really want to thank you for sharing it. But I cannot wait to see this exhibition. I cannot wait. I've been hearing about it for a while. I'm so excited. So I can't believe it's only 2 months away now. But I want to hear from you. I was just thinking back, like Shu Lea's kind of like she gave her laptop to the Fails Library, some time ago, and you can actually like go and like log on to like Shu Lea's laptop from the 90s and like see all of her like research material from Brandon and stuff. Have you been, so this is a project that's sort of like explicitly like thinking about trans identity in 2026, which is like hyper politicized. Have you been reflecting back on the moment when you made Brandon, which also was kind of like dealing with those identities?
Yes, so Brandon was a project that's a 1 year long web project and allowed me to develop a lot of story about trans stories, and particularly with the trial of the so-called rape by deception. Many, there's a lot of different accidents that happen, and for me at the time with Brandon, I think I was dealing between the actual and virtual space. So I uploaded Brandon onto the internet, and that the characters sort of encounter different story, different episode. And within the year time of this web project, I was able to travel and work on sort of different episode and adding different collaboration into the piece. Of course, to think about Brandon from 1998, 1999, and for me, I have another project called 3x3x6, which was at the Venice Biennial, 2019. And in this piece, I also dealt with prisoners, inmates that was incarcerated because of the gender offense. This new word, love of love, actually was triggered by the death of my longtime collaborator, my music producer for the past 10 years, called Area Negro. Area Negro is a trans woman, originally from Venezuela, but living in Berlin. We've been collaborating on my recent 2 feature films and also including 3x3x6. However, in 2023, after the premiere of Yuki, she actually walked out of the window in the 3 floors apartment building and killed herself. I think that sort of affected me so much about at this time that a trans person still have so much trouble that we were not aware, and for the person to at the end committed suicide. Of course, there's been a lot of death of the trans people too, and I decided to do something about trans fragility, and last year I decided to do it in Tucson, Arizona, and so there was a whole process of research to get to know the people, the community in Tucson, Arizona, and to produce this film.
Yeah, that, well, that's, I'm so sorry for your loss, Shu Lea. And that kind of tragedy is, all too familiar, I'm sure, for many people in this space. Something that, I mean, of course, that tragedy was hanging over Brandon also, and I think the thing I was thinking about as I was sort of snooping your laptop was there's all these kinds of conversations and emails where people are sort of in your community are really in a process of coming to terms with this moment, the murder, and then the I guess the media fallout from it as well. And I think it does come across as like a real moment of confusion and naivety. And I feel like the moment we're in now is sort of very different. There's a lot of information, but it's kind of like the wrong information, and it's pointing people in the wrong direction. So it feels kind of rare to have like a very clear statement of a vision for how things can be good, actually, which is something I appreciated about that clip.
Yeah, so I encountered this youngster, 17 years old, and they bring the friends to join. And so, so we had like 5 trans youths, all 17 years old. That was in the clip, yeah.
Does anyone in the audience want to ask Shu Lea any questions? Ooh, we have one from Jason. Jason, do you want to say it or do you want me to read it?
Um, Actually, yeah, I could say it real quick. Hi, Shu Lea. Thanks for the presentation. It was great. I really enjoyed it. How do you think about the relationship between cinema and installation? I'm just curious about that. Like when you're developing the project, and do you see installation as like an evolution of cinema right now, or do you see that as something that's fundamentally different?
Okay. I have known being recognized as I'm making a film, like making an installation, like I'm doing a cinema, like doing an installation, or I'm doing installation, like doing a cinema. So it's interesting that you would pose this question. For a long time, I didn't know how to praise myself. You know, when I'm an artist, I actually work with a lot of network technology and coding, that kind of stuff. At the same time, making cinema is also allowed me to bring in a lot of performance, a lot of different collaboration. So I tend to develop project quite big that can kind of bring in different collaboration together, isn't it? In terms of at the moment, I think I am a bit I'm not so much into like showing the film in the gallery or showing the video or the film in the gallery. I tend to think this is of course, earlier days, I came from this kind of video art period, and video art meaning we do have a video in the gallery, but then at the moment it seems the cinema or video or film in galleries being considered more like a painting became an object in itself, isn't it? So it is why that when I got a chance to do this work, Love in at the Leslie-Lohman Museum, I actually decided to pretty much go against the idea that these film clip or cinema film clips in the gallery would be exactly the way it is, placed very nicely, and then you kind of take your time to watch over period of time of certain duration. So for this installation, I'm aiming to it's actually every screen is movable, so the audience can move it.
Yeah. I mean, I
Fantastic.
really, as an audience member, I always feel like with your installation work or your net art work, I'm entering into a kind of story world. Like, I guess people have used the word world building quite a bit in relation to your practice, but there's always sort of like, um, yeah, there's some sort of like other experiment with reality that I'm entering into, whether it's a film or a gallery work. Does that feel like a statement you recognize about your work, Shu Lea?
Are you making a statement or are you asking a question?
I'm making a statement, but I feel like you're looking at me like I'm crazy, but that's just Zoom for you.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I think when the museum, the Leslie-Lohman Museum actually have to get a technician, hire some technical director for the installation. And I think the first meeting I have them is like they want to make sure I'm aware of what I'm doing by asking audience to move the screen. So
Yeah. There's the next question is about your Leslie-Lohman show from Carol. Someone from Leslie-Lohman is here, I think. Yeah.
All right. Carol, do you want to ask? Oh, you're muted. We can't hear you though.
How about this? Is that
hi,
better?
Carol.
Okay. Hi. I just wondered what moving the screen meant. Like, are they swiping or are they controlling the speed or what are they do? What's the audience doing? What do you want the audience to do? It's a question.
So actually, it's gonna be a 4-channel installation. So in the gallery, I will set up 4 screens. So each screen have its own sort of visual. Actually, will be all the sort of image video I shot in Tucson, but then it kind of echo each other. So meaning within these 8 performance and plus more extra guest performance that the story kind of weave together, but then you had a 4 screen telling different story at the same time. the moving of the screen is actually gonna activate one of the songs from Area Negro to play. The song I'm quoting from Area Negro is called "It's Lover Love," and so that's why also the title called "Lover Love." And so whenever an audience moving the screen, the song would play randomly a section of the song, and until you stop moving the screen.
I get it. Thank you. Yeah, I just wondered.
It could be pretty chaotic, right?
No, I think it would be pretty nice. I mean, depending on how you've set up the audio streams, I think it might be nice. It could be very nice. It could be a great composition.
Yeah, I think at the moment with the 4 channel, yes, it is about the sound negotiation, the composition of the song, yes.
Nice.
Very good. Actually, Shu Lea, I actually had a question that kind of I'm allowed to ask a question, I think. That jumped off of one of the previous questions, talking about the difference between sort of film, and you'd mentioned you don't really like film in a gallery setting, and I think it's or that you had some apprehension about that, and actually that's actually something I've always been very curious about, is like I go into these galleries and they're playing a 20-minute film and I'm coming into like minute 9 and I'm completely lost, and and film seems, it's so durational, it has a beginning and an end, and it doesn't, whereas things that are more interactive, I feel, or they're almost like game worlds, you can kind of dive in at any time. So I'm just very curious about sort of like how how do you think about that? Is that part of your thinking about sort of things that are more durational, start to end, versus things where people can kind of jump into the story at any moment?
Well, I think that's why I would like to consider, if I'm making a film and to be shown in a gallery, I would really have to make sure which kind of film or what medium. For example, I talk about altering, the AI cell portrait I made is actually a 36 minutes loop, right? And it was done in such a way that you can just you can jump in anytime. It doesn't matter. It's about the AI, my AI cell portrait, my AI cell kind of mutating my cell, keep changing colors, keep changing skin color, changing shape and all that. So for me, that piece is like perfect. I want to do it in a gallery. Originally, I thought that I would show as on monitor, but recently I actually aiming for usually very large screen. So it's like the way that I show it now is like 5 meter by 5 meter screen, so larger than life, right? So yeah, I think I am actually not so sure about these particular like cinema in the gallery. However, I do use this a lot too, but I want to make sure if a cinema is shown in the gallery, people really is okay to be in and out, right?
Mm. Yeah, I mean, it's also, cinema's an old form. And I just think of you always as such a relentless futurist, Shu Lea. Although I was thinking about this as you were talking about cinema, and you did start the talk by talking about fermentation, which is very old. I think what you're saying is that fermentation is for you an algorithmic process. Is that right? Can you say a little more about that?
More oscillation.
Oh, oscillation is the algorithmic process.
Yeah, yeah.
And
so I started this conversation with Tadzuo Kogawa in Tokyo. Of course, Tadzuo Kogawa, if people in the field or the radio should know, like he's like a master, a legend. He started the mini FM movement and kind of worldwide. He had these little transmitters that's been applied and be replicated over and over. But sometimes I do a lot of sound project, like large scale noise sound project. So I was doing like some sound with the food too. And Tazo actually sent me saying like, oh, I'm actually really into camembert and fermenting camembert and also getting the sound out of the fermentation from the camembert. And actually, I also had this project collaborating with Martin House, and we also do mushrooms. We do mushroom and taking sound from the growing of the mushroom. So for me, this kind of organic processing is really interesting. And the reason I feel, at first, of course, I have done also different fermentation projects for me to get back to this. But at the moment, I feel this particular fermentation project is important for me because since I became the virus, so it's nature that the virus can actually become useful to fermenting something out of me. And that's one part. And on a more social political aspect, I really feel at the moment we have so much anger, so much protest on the street. And I mean, this is the time we really see a lot of, citizens really get on the street. I came also from the 80s living in New York City. And at the time, ACT UP, for example, particular AIDS crisis, like activate a lot of street demonstration. For me, again, we are on the street again, and this time in millions, So this process of for me, it feel like sort of, like a fermentation becoming mature, or, how sort of contained anger suddenly bursting out, and this bursting out is going to be out on the street.
Can I ask a follow-up to that?
Yes.
So you see yourself as you mentioned you see yourself as a virus, or you see yourself as operating in that mode. I mean, we're in this, with all, like, a lot of digital content, they talk about virality, they talk about spread, and a lot of these mediums, like, the TikToks and Instagram, they're all built around, like, spreading and virality. Do you feel that it's incumbent on you to like have that virality, to have that spread, to channel this content out, or how do you imagine how do you operate well as a virus?
Okay.
Maybe that's an unintelligible question, but
well, I have a lot of so as I say, from 2009 in Hagay Media Lab in Barcelona, I declare myself enter into this viral love, biohack, meaning I learned to love virus, right? At the same time, I think to be doing biohacking. So in between virus and biohacking, and Yuki exactly is a film that kind of follow this theme and develop into a feature film story. I consider I still like to refer to this book, Digital Contagion. I think you probably read it. So I think contagion is actually could be many aspects, right? So as you say, we have digital contagion, software virus, we have body virus, that kind of thing. The fact that we actually got into more of a transgenic discourse, the declaration of that we are not human, or we are beyond human, we are more than human, or, learn to love the non-human, and all these elements come together. I think for me to declare becoming virus is one step to actually activate and motivate myself. As virus is replicable, I think when we do the stream mobilization, we are also the virus, isn't it? You kind of call it agent, but you're a virus. You're spreading. So need this spreading of virus, right? But anyway, pretty much I saw like I would kind of finish my cycle of becoming virus 2023 when the movie Yuki was released. And since now I'm thinking about fermentation, and so I thought, oh, maybe I had to bring the virus back into the sort of negotiation, with the body. So yeah, anyway.
Hello, my name is Anna.
Does anybody have any questions? Otherwise, I'll just keep riffing. Or Michael, did you wanna jump?
Well, I was just thinking about your farm and if we should talk about that part of it at all, because one of our collaborations together was Garlic Equals Rich Air. It was, of course, a project you did originally in 2002, I think, right?
Yeah.
And it's actually kind of a fascinating project because it proposed this science fiction world in which currency had crashed and had no longer had any value, and people had started trading garlic bulbs instead of currency. And so the kind of analogies you're making between like the virus of the body and the virus of the system, which these things are, it's like on one level a metaphor to talk about them coming closer together, technological and biological systems, but on the other, it's just describing what's actually happening. But back in your garlic piece, there was like a really specific metaphor about the garlic having a role as like real bulbs, and then also having like a virtual currency role. So you could trade the garlic online for JPEGs, and you could also cash it in offline for bulbs. So it's very much just like experiment between the real and the virtual. But then you turned it into kind of a crazy parade led by Reverend Billy through Wall Street, I think, with a truck where people could come and cash in this virtual garlic for real garlic.
Right.
But I think when I think back on that project, it sort of takes me usually in the direction of like thinking about virtual markets and currency. But thinking about it today, it's also, thinking about like the garlic as like a technological object, or like the role of biology and technology. And but can you talk a bit about the role of garlic in your practice, and if that's something that's still present?
Yeah. So the Garlic project in 2002 is actually also found a grant called the Challenge to the Field. And so I kind of didn't explain, I didn't want to take the field as the art field, and I take the field as a green field. So I want to do a project about the land and all that. And my friend, who actually is such a garlic grower, he has a whole theory about how to grow garlic. You can really get rich if you grow garlic, since a garlic ball can be split up. So each garlic unit became, you can grow them. So I did an interview with him and Toby Harlick, and he would talk about like how, one garlic ball can be 10 plants for this year, and 10 plants means next year, 10 by 10, you have 100, and thinking about how could you become a rich farmer very fast by doing garlic. However, the dream didn't come through, so he's still poor. Anyway, these garlic become like he's growing too much. So with the grant money, I just give him thousands, and just sell me 2,000 garlic. I'll make it into an art project, So that's what happened actually. And so the garlic project became, actually through the years, it have a very various versions actually. It has, yes, this is like Get Garlic Go Wireless. This was early 2000, like people are fighting for free Wi-Fi. We were on the street fighting for free Wi-Fi. And so it was from there, the project got, Garlic Equal Rich Air. The parody is more about like if someone eats garlic, everybody smells it. So meaning that if you have Wi-Fi, you should also share that. Yeah.
How you doing? Trying to get in there to pass out some garlic?
Not going to the best on golf, no.
I mean, we just want to...
Who are you with? You're supposed to meet someone from the exchange?
Garlic Equals Rich Air Exchange. The Garlic Equals Rich Air Exchange.
Are you supposed to meet somebody from the exchange?
tender is no longer the dollar bill, my children. Save your souls. The stock exchange must convert over to the new legal tender, which is the stinking rose, the garlic bulb. All of you come down here now. Come down onto our trading floor. Convert your dollar bills into garlic bulbs. Do it now. Within a few hours, your dollar bills will be worthless.
So you believe in the possibility of other possibilities. Here. So all those networks are coming, all right, going through our bodies.
Yeah, going through, around, and over. You bet. Absolutely.
And what are the dials?
The dials tell you how much wireless traffic there is.
Hey, Shu Lea, we're on the net. Sign on.
Well, this is the ultimate in public access, that you can just open up your computer and be connected to the whole world. And that's what we're all about.
It is streaming. We're streaming.
Oh my God! Okay. See, does it come out? She's giving us half the garlic.
Wait a minute, I'm gonna get it.
Here we go.
One.
We've got a trade over here.
We got a trader, ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and
Somebody who's
gentlemen.
trading some beautiful hair. Some beautiful hair. The value of this hair, you know, the human body is worth so much. But today it's only worth 2 garlics.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. The garlic economy is here to stay. It tastes good. What do you got to trade?
Paper.
2 for 1. 2 for 1. Synergy Fitness Club. There you go. There you go. Look, I got a coupon on somebody traded me.
It's a tape for demarcating a normal zone.
Wait. I hope it sticks for this.
Fantastic. So you got 2.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
How many you got there too? Or was that pretty straight?
With first grip.
7, 8, 9.
Is that it? Okay, let's see.
Yeah. And it's login Jamie. Let me just check the password.
Have a good day.
3 months of free hosting for Jamie.com from Ben for 10 garlic.
I guess the word that really comes to mind when you talk about it now is the word commons, which was something that I've heard you talk about a lot and kind of came up in, do you read the Sylvia Federici book, Re-Enchanting the Commons, that came out a few years ago? Just really amazing. But you were talking about this concept for all these years, the commons, and I think this is not going to work, actually. I'm really offline. What do you think are the prospects for people that want to kind of nurture a commons in 2026? How can artists make projects that celebrate the commons today? You created free Wi-Fi and you created free garlic. I feel like projects that follow along these lines now are like, we have a collective resource and we're going to create a token gated access to it, which you can trade on.
Isn't this what we were saying? Like all these years we've been doing these commons we share. So artists upload your stuff. We are, true believer of Creative Commons. We share our our work and all that. However, all this data is now teaching the AI, right? So we all know that. And now with the AI, actually, the reason I got into doing AI self-portrait, the altering project was by studying the algorithm or AI and sort of the whole sort of bias situation, condition with the AI anyway, in terms of race and gender particularly. So I decided to kind of make a project about that. Now, I think currently it's more like all the commons we're talking about the data become more like appropriated, right? So we're talking about the way that the AI company, the way that the large format AI thing is like accumulating so much data. This installation, for example, Kiss Kiss Kill Kill, I also work with Martin, and we actually retraining some AI and did a kind of revolutionary AI, by learning all the revolution tests to be spoken out. So I think it's about in terms of talking about commons today, I feel almost like it doesn't matter even if we create a small unit of commons, but became like a pool of commons to share. But then we have to take back these data. We had by taking back these data, meaning we have to be in control of these data, how it's being used.
Yeah, I mean, even this site, I'm just looking at it and thinking like, this kind of feels dystopian in a way. Like you're creating a commons, but you're giving it a stock ticker and you're doing it on the streets of FIDI. So yeah, there's something like the commons is only existing under these very contested conditions, and it's held together by this ragtag band of hackers. Kind of I think that way of thinking of the commons as something that has to be protected was also present for you back in 2003. And
back in 2003, I was very open, I was totally open, I am, ready to give away. And,
I
I
know
think
I've looked at your laptop from the 90s, so I know this.
that's amazing. I'm so happy they make it available for my
It's so
archive.
complicated to use, but yeah.
Oh, wow. Amazing. Yeah, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's true, you were very open.
Yeah, so the question today is really, I think commons still can be shared. However, how to share it. Yeah. Yeah.
Without it being shared with bad actors.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Well, my token gated description will solve that.
I would love to pick up on a couple things. I'm still kind of stuck on. Or you're done with the virus thing though? Is that chapter of your artistic practice has sort of ended talking about the virus? I am actually very curious. I mean, I still think it's fascinating. I would actually love to talk more about AI and how you like. Do you consider it? Does AI operate like a virus? Does it operate like how do you think it operates?
How did it operate? It's you feed them and they chew it out, right?
Yeah.
So
they need a lot of feeding.
I know. So it's a lot of feeding, and the way that it got chewed out is also kind of processed in the mouth, right? It's like every kind of chewing activity. So every kind of eating activity. So maybe you feed the raw vegetable and somehow get cooked and chewing and then spit out, and then you get these combined data representation, and you say, oh God, it's so smart. So I actually would not particularly think they are virus, actually. They're more like a little monster.
Little monster? Is it fermenting?
Yes.
I think they are little monsters. Yeah.
Maybe more like a little insatiable monster that keep wanting to chew up the data. So be careful, right?
It's not so little. It's getting bigger. These data centers are massive.
Yeah, even they so big, they still gonna they can get squeezed in, right? Yeah. Yeah. I have a friend, he's a digital minister, Tang Feng. Tang Feng, what's Tang Feng's English name?
Audrey Tang.
Audrey Tang, yes. So right during the virus breaking out, and I met with Tang Feng, Audrey. I met with Audrey, in her office, and we had a talk about AI, and you know, at the time that was back in maybe 2022. So the AI was just kind of, you know, start getting noticed, or, you know, in terms of its work. And Audrey actually gave me a whole analysis about how AI was born out of COVID.
Oh, yeah.
So, okay, here you got that virus connection.
Ah,
There's
so we actually
a question, one more question from the chat before we wrap, or
from sound?
From sound.
Sound, would you like to ask?
Oh,
sure. Yes. Hi.
Yes.
I'll just read it out loud. From the topic of fermentation to garlic to AI for the people. And this is kind of informed by the Rehuman chats that I've been a part of online, led by Lila. How much has the work connected to Indigenous-led food sovereignty or food sovereign rights projects, and which groups or personal projects informed the thoughts around plants and plant processes?
At the moment, I very much paying attention to this particular project called Soil Assembly. Are you aware of this project? Soil Assembly. They have been gathering actually recently in India, but before it was also in Ecuador, and you know, it is a project actually led by different groups of people, but at the moment they probably also have some EU funding. But this idea of rethinking about the the food sovereignty and the land and soil, particularly my connection, since I talk about this theater project I'm working, and particularly working with indigenous artist performance in Taiwan. So this project actually took me onto a totally different routing by respect the ritual. You know, there's certain ritual with the land, with your ancestors, and this kind of different way of treating the land or viewing the land. What can I say? So I'm actually, as I say, the theater piece had used a lot of technology using laser motion capture, all the technology that I'm applying onto the theater work. And at the same time, because it's processing a lot of indigenous knowledge systems. So I come to think about, I really want to have more aspects of the indigenous culture being kind of brought into the discussion about technology. You know, I think the way that we have kind of departed from that particular land, and we took the technology onto a different route. You know, maybe in March I'll probably have a talk about the future, the technology future, the future. I think everybody wants to talk about future, right? So whenever we talk about that, I kind of think about rethinking, you know, remark the so-called technology and future. And for me, I had to find the resources back in the indigenous people in a way. And this including the understanding of the land or the forest or the hunting and all these different sort of knowledge transmission.
Thank you. I heard soil assemblage as a term to look up. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, and fantastic. And with that, we're at time. Shu Lea, thank you so much. This was really, really interesting. Michael,
I'm so very sorry for the technical glitch.
No, this is a gathering. This is not a podcast. I don't know what Michael's talking about. Michael, do you want to do a send off and then send it to Shu Lea to wrap it up?
Well, yeah, thank you so much for joining us. Next week we'll be back with Lynn Hirschman-Leeson, which will be fun. So thank you, Shu Lea. Always such a pleasure to see you and catch up with what you're up to.
Okay, great.
All right,
yeah,
thank you,
I'm
everyone.
coming back to America, so yeah, I see Karen there too. Hi, Karen.
Will be back soon.
Yes, I'll be back soon.
Thank you so much, everybody. Hope to see you in a future
Yes.
Space session. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.